Do you remember last week we announced that tonight we were going to give away a live Shetland pony to some lucky member of our audience? You remember that, don't you? Then you'd better see a doctor. We didn't say a thing about it. 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Hans Conried here. Who there? Never mind. Well, once again, it's time for Fractured Flickers, or as it is known in the trade, down memory lane with axe and crowbar.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Fly-By-Night Airlines Deluxe Champagne and Movie Flight to lovely Fairbanks, Alaska. Or someplace like that. Just a little joke. This is your captain speaking, and I hope you enjoy the champagne today as much as we do here on the flight deck. Before the movie starts, your stewardess will be serving you with a fly-by-night cocktail, half gin and half Milltown. Note the movie screen at the forward end of the cabin, and our projector, typical of Fly-By-Night's dependable, foolproof equipment. Now, if you make yourselves comfortable, it's showtime.
Since mankind first envisaged the conquest of the air, his progress has been a long succession of tiny victories over great adversities. Brave, pitiful man, he never gives up. Aeronautical engineers, despite the shakiness of their skills, despite the fact that all machines must and do fail occasionally, still fight bravely onward. Aircraft designers are admittedly willing to experiment with new and radical techniques, regardless of the odds against them.
Well, back to the old drawing board.
And of course, throughout aviation history, pilots have calmly faced the multiple perils attendant upon every takeoff. Perils which are nothing compared to the dangers of landing.
Captain, this is the stewardess calling.
Raise you two, Fred. Yes, my dear. How's everything in the cabin section? Coming along, I hope.
Captain, this movie we're watching?
Oh, great idea, isn't it? Relaxes the passengers.
Yeah, that's just it. The passengers are behaving oddly. It's the movie. Unsuccessful things are happening to airplanes. It's awful.
Well, that's showbiz, doll.
Yeah, well, it may be showbiz to you, but the passengers are getting panicky.
Miss Finster, you're interrupting the pinochle game.
Sir, the passengers, they're getting up. They're unfastening their seatbelts. Ow!
Look at that.
Oh.
Wow. Captain, does the plane seem to be getting lighter to you?
Shut up and deal.
It's long been a rule in the motion picture industry that every red American is crazy about college pictures. The story of the big game with all its athletic pageantry is a part of the current folklore. I said what? Of course I meant red-blooded American. Who? I'll be back with you, I hope, right after our collegiate caper, Cornell Goes Wild. FBI.
These are the hallowed halls of Scrooge University, the day before the big game. As you can see, Scrooge University didn't spend much on hallowed halls, but their football team was the best that money could buy. Each fall, 300 Leviathans strained to make the varsity. But only one athlete was sure of a spot on the first team, young Jack Headstrong, the coach's favorite.
Jackie! Kitty! How about a little scrimmage, huh? Okay, fellas, Jack's gonna run us through the plays.
Unfortunately, young Jack couldn't run, pass, or block, and there was only one play he could even remember.
Okay, fellas, number 18A, the drop kick. 1, 2, 3, O'Leary. Let's try that again, shall we? 1, 2, 3, O'Leary.
Yes, for hours, Jack would make drop kick after drop kick.
I have to. It's my major.
That night, Scrooge University held its weekly Thanksgiving Day dance. There were the usual assortment of chickens and 1 or 2 turkeys. One of the latter was Jack's fiancée, Rosa Picardy.
Say, I've been looking all over for young Jack. Where is he?
Where is he ever? Look.
1, 2, 3, O'Leary.
Yes, Jack was now trying for the all-time consecutive drop kick record.
Forget him, doll. Let's just dance.
What, on Thanksgiving?
While Rosa kicked her heels, Jack kicked you-know-what.
1, 2, 3, O'Leary.
Then at 4 in the morning, the director of athletics, Miss Placement, ordered him to stop practicing drop kicks.
We're running out of footballs, Jack.
That's a nasty cold you got there, Miss Placement. Want to borrow my hanky?
Jack!
Don't touch me.
What is it?
Whizzikers! You want to, give me a bacteria or something? I might miss the big game. Anyway, you won't let me practice my drop kick. On second thought, use your own hanky.
Idiot giver.
No more practicing. Was Jack going to take this lying down? Well, yes, as a matter of fact, he was. 80,000 rabid fans jammed the stadium the next day, breathlessly awaiting the Titanic struggle. By the way, that S doesn't stand for Scrooge. It stands for Sam, who owns the bass drum. And here's Jack leading Scrooge onto the field. Yay, Jack! J-E-R-K, Jack! Yay! And here's the Cornell team, which is usually high above Cayuga's waters.
Boo! Boo! Shame!
A pox on you chaps.
With no place left on the bench, Jack watched from the ground as Cornell kicked off. They were a tricky team, all right. Instead of kicking to their opponents, they kicked to one of their own men, who made a non-stop dash to the Scrooge goal line.
Hold it, fellas, I'm bushed.
Oh, fudge! Boo! Boo! Hey, stupid, what's the score?
Who knows? I dropped my glasses.
Actually, the score was 6-0. At the end of the third quarter, Scrooge hadn't even got possession of the ball yet. This was nothing new. No Scrooge team had had possession for the past 9 years. However, an 80-yard Cornell pass failed to make the first down, and the pall of gloom lifted slightly.
Yay!
Yay, Paul!
The next play was a double reverse red dog end around end, or in the layman's language, a fumble. Could Scrooge battle back to win, or even to tie, or at least to call the game off? But it had been so long since the Scrooge team had had the ball, nobody knew what to do with it. This was the moment for which the young sophomore had been born.
Coach, you gotta let me drop kick. It's the only way out.
That's only 3 points.
So what?
We lose 6-3.
It's better than a shutout.
You're right. Get in there.
Good, Jack, do it.
No!
There was only time for 8 or 10 plays, and Jack didn't know that many. Into the huddle they went.
Right, like any suggestions, fellers?
How about a pass?
No, run.
Then it's settled. We'll try a drop kick.
What a terrible time for young Jack to find out he had chewing gum on the bottom of his shoe. Undaunted, he took his position. Yes, unfortunately, he'd also forgotten the number of the play.
4, 6. 1, 2, 3, O'Leary. Oh, fiddle.
The young sophomore missed two things that day. A chance to be a hero and a chance to get out of the stadium alive. Like Vesuvius, the fans erupted onto the field. Kill him! Cut off his foot!
Remove his varsity letter.
That was 50 years ago. Yet even today, as the shadows lengthen over the hallowed halls of Scrooge University, they say if you look hard, you may see a bent figure on the gridiron.
1, 2, 3, Leary.
Yes, it's old Jack Headstrong, still practicing the drop kick.
Why not? I'm still a sophomore. 7, 8, 9, O'Leary. 10, O'Leary. Postman. We're most fortunate to have with us this evening for an interview one of the great child actors of motion pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, Spanky McFarlane. Spanky, welcome to Fractured Flicker.
Excuse me, but I'm not Spanky McFarlane. My name is Fabian.
Yay!
Isn't this the Dinky Mungo dance party?
I beg your pardon.
You look like Dinky Mungo.
We are mistaken for one another all the time.
I didn't mean any offense. Well, nice talking to you, sir. I'd better get over to Dinky Studio.
No, wait. If you leave, I won't have anybody to interview. You wouldn't do that to a fellow thespian, would you?
Not thespian, Fabian. But I really ought to get going. Dinky's expecting me.
Well, I'm sure he won't mind, young man, even if you are a little late. Anyway, I've got an idea that he's probably interviewing Spanky McFarlane right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is indeed Fabian. Yes, a phenomenally successful recording star and recently recipient of some very fine critical comments in straight acting role. Hmm?
Thank you, sir. What did you say the name of this show is?
Fractured Flickers.
What is it? Some kind of doctor show or something?
Very amusing. You've never seen our show, I take it.
I've never even heard of it.
The innocent candor of youth. Well, let me give you a brief idea of how Fractured Flickers works, as they say. First, we take an old silent movie, and then we edit it down from its original length to a short version of our own.
Oh, I see.
And then we add our own funny dialogue, voices, sound effects.
Why?
And I'm beginning to wonder that myself.
What do you do on the show, sir?
Why do you keep calling me sir?
I call everybody over 60, sir.
I see. Well, in answer to your question, I'm the host of the show, boy.
Oh, what are you, one of those old-time movie stars or something?
Oh, don't you really remember me? I understudied Alfalfa in the Our Gang comedy.
Our Gang?
Yeah, there was sort of a Stone Age Mickey Mouse Club.
Mickey Mouse Club?
Oh, come on, you're not that young.
Well, I'm really pulling your leg, Mr. Connery. Actually, I've admired your work as an actor for years, and I've always thought of you as one of the master practitioners of the craft. I mean that sincerely.
Oh, thank you.
And really, I'm a real fan of your show, Fractured Flickers, right? I've always loved the old films and have some silence that have always been favorites of my own.
Oh, really? Such as?
Well, Gidget Goes Hawaiian, Bye Bye Birdie, and The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
You're sure you know what a silent picture is, huh?
I'm just kidding, of course. I want you to know it's been a real pleasure. Good night, Mr. Hans Connery. Thank you very much.
Have it been, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next Fractured Flicker will be played for Pam and Orville and all the gang at the Dinky Mungo dance party. Let's watch it, shall we?
Where was it I lost control of that interview? The Friendly Egg Institute of America reminds you that every morning you should dress, take a bath,
not necessarily in that order,
and have yourself an egg. Eggs are plentiful. You'll find them everywhere. And with today's ingenious cookware, they're easy to prepare, too. As soon as you get the gooey little rascals out of their shells. Modern women make eggs part of modern living, along with the handy disposal unit. And the wall-high cooker. And remember, this week only, listen for that special knock. That means the Egg Institute man is calling. You'll recognize him by the twinkle in his eye and his long purple beard. If you're cooking an egg, when he arrives, you'll get this personal greeting from the Egg Institute of America, a beautiful bouquet of shiny poison oak, and help with your egg problem. So each morning, get dressed, take a bath,
Not necessarily in that order.
and try hard, won't you? Bend over backward. You start each day with an egg on your stomach, over easy, sunny side up, or scrambled. Tonight we paid tribute to a hardy band of idealists, heavy, America's industrial scientists, men who have contributed so much to our way of life today, whose unremitting efforts have produced such scientific breakthroughs as whiskey-flavored toothpaste, triple filter cigarettes, and the rhinestone fly swatter. Now, a flicker was originally made as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, starring the great, late John Barrymore. But tonight, it's been fractured into a stirring saga of the soft drink industry, entitled, Do Me a Flavor.
This scholarly gentleman is the noted astrologer Albert K. Seltzer. Dr. Seltzer is trying to determine whether human life exists on the planet Jupiter.
Whee! Hot dogs! By Jupiter, there are human being peoples out there.
You're nuts!
You think so, eh? Well, come here.
No. Coax me.
Very well. Pretty please with a cherry on top.
That's better. Now you are talking, Doc.
Look quick, you're holding up the plot.
Sorry, Ed. Jupiter, eh? Yahoo! I'll show them they're right, brothers. Good grief. It's my brother, George.
Dr. Seltzer made his living by operating the Seltzer Laboratories, producers of world-famous seltzer water made in 6 delicious flavors.
Oh, Doctor, that stuff really tickles my nose and it doesn't upset my stomach. Can I have another 40 gallons?
Do you want it to go?
Oh, yes, and bless you, Doctor.
See the receptionist. She'll put it in a sack for you.
Yes, Seltzer's water was good for everybody. Well, almost everybody. The good doctor had a kind word for all his patients, but in reality his mind was elsewhere. Not on Jupiter, but on a secret formula for a new seltzer flavor, one that will take the country by storm. Entering his laboratory, he couldn't help noticing the appearance of Madeleine Lafarge, his head chemist. She too had been working on the new formula. Never had he seen her look so pale, so wan, so pooped. To think that just last night she had looked like this.
That new flavor really leaves you with a head, doesn't it? Not a very good-looking head at that.
Oh, Doctor, it's terrible. That new stuff is poison. Pure poison.
Later that evening, Dr. Seltzer met with Conrad Phosphate, the big soda pop tycoon. Phosphate would stoop to any height to get his hands on a new formula.
Tell me, Doctor, what do you call this new flavor?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Catchy name.
I like it. I'll offer you $50,000 a year to come make chocolate for me. I'll even throw in a few coffee breaks.
Seltzer liked what he heard, but he insisted on a tour of Phosphate's plant, located in the fashionable part of the slum section. Like any soda pop factory, this one maintained a staff of professional flavor tasters. Phosphate escorted his little group to the executive office. For instance, his head chemist, Dr. Imogen Cola, was at that moment stomping out some grapes. Seltzer was impressed by the dedicated young scientist.
Imogen is developing a new drink called Grape Suzette.
Yes, Seltzer was smitten by this wisp of a chemist with the black eyes and blue feet.
Hey, Doc, come here.
She was the bait for the trap.
Dr. Cola, this is Dr. Algate Seltzer.
A pretty name. You not only walk and talk like a chemist, you smell like a chemist.
Funny, I don't feel like a chemist.
Yes, Phosphate had won a genius over to his wicked cause. Determined to impress Imogen, seltzer picked up where Madeline had left off, and in time developed a double chocolate seltzer. But a thought struck him.
Oh!
Suppose what happened to Madeline should happen to him. What would he look like the morning after? Was it too late to turn back, or at least sideways?
Remember, 50,000 a year plus coffee breaks. All this and cola, too.
That did it. He would make the test.
Over the lips, over the gums. Look out, stomach, here it comes. Oh, man, that's good stuff. Wow. Oh, boy, smooth. Ooh.
A slight but noticeable change began to come over the good doctor. His breath came in short pants. Knickers, almost. The water on his knee began to boil. His hair oil changed to 30 weight.
Yummy.
Even his hands, usually soft and pretty from washing them in hydrochloric acid, became harsh and red. So this is what chocolate seltzer did to the human system. Dishpan hands.
What if I drank a bottle full of the stuff? Or put nuts in it and ate it like candy? Wowee!
He had to rush to Imogen to tell her of his taste triumph. Stopping only to don his tuxedo, Seltzer sped to the phosphate factory for a surprise visit.
Surprise!
Hello, Al.
Look, Imogen, baby, my new flavor has made me a new man.
The face I can take, but that hat's got to go.
Mr. Phosphate will be so proud.
I'd like to talk to you about that, handsome.
The wily Imogen decided they should do away with Conrad Phosphate and keep the formula for themselves. Seltzer was all for it. In his condition, he was all for anything. Yes, the unfortunate doctor was now hooked on double chocolate seltzer.
Yes, for that tired Logie feeling, it's double chocolate seltzer every time. Gives you that wake up and live feeling. It puts you in that play the piano mood. Play, play, full play. Gives you that little extra lift.
At that moment, Phosphate rang the bell.
Let's all sing the seltzer song. And 1, and 2, and double chocolate seltzer. Double good, you see.
That's terrible.
But what a beat! Double chocolate best for you and me! Zoot!
His singing roused the neighbors who summoned help. 8 hours later, it arrived in the form of Emmeline Gargley, girl inspector.
I'll take him alone. It's more dramatic. All right, Seltzer. Come out or I'm coming in.
So come in, come in. Give me a break, Inspector. I was framed.
A face like that ought to be framed. You're under arrest, Al. Singing commercials without a license.
Can't we talk this over, Inspector? I can make it worth your while. How about a case of seltzer? Some free jiu-jitsu lessons.
Emmeline had already taken jiu-jitsu lessons.
Oh! Wowee, that's smart.
Feverish and overheated, the mad doctor collapsed.
We should have known. We should have known.
What should we have known?
Whenever a seltzer gets warm, it goes flat.
Remember, for gracious living, it's the Shady Grove Hotel. Come as you are. The folks at Shady Grove will give you a welcome you'll never forget. Yes, people keep coming back to Shady Grove.
Well, as Henry R. Luce wrote me just the other day, our time has run out.
1, 2.
Well, as they say at the United Parcel Service, that just about wraps it up. Until next week at this same time, this is Hans Conried saying good night. And in the words of Prince of Anafuma, Noshisama Loka Nedral. Translation,